Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Pauly Howard, Mike Palm. Mitch on vacation, coming to you live from Circa. Sirius XM Channel 158. We'll get back to the top 5 worst Super Bowls list as well, which Mike did a great job putting that together. A lot of NFL news as well, and the reaction still continues to come in. Super Bowl 5, this is from David Stanley on X. The game is often referred to as the blunder or the blooper bowl. 11 turnovers, blocked extra point, penalties, miscues. There were 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter alone. The Colts had 7. And Dallas had 10 penalties for 133 yards, 16-13 final. Oh, wow.
Chuck Howley was the MVP, defensive player again. And a losing player.
On a losing team,
yes.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes.
They had it all.
Yep.
Imagine that. Good call, Mike. Very good. It's a great college basketball schedule today. Good job by the sport. Dalen Cuff from ESPN joins us now with a plethora of picks and to go over the card. Great to talk to you as always, my friend. Money coming in on Vandy. What do you think of maybe a look-ahead spot here for both Auburn and Alabama?
It doesn't seem that unlikely to me. I thought 9.5 was a little high this morning for Vanderbilt. They've played well at home. They have good quality wins against good opposition at home, including Tennessee in a rivalry game, Kentucky like that. They've proven they can do it. I do think coming off a loss like that, Auburn's in a different place, but I think that number was a little high, so it didn't surprise me to come down. There's so many good games on this card. I'm not playing that one, but it is not surprising to see that move.
Okay. How about, what do you think of Bama? This is the last, quote, easy game, right? After this, It's nothing but ranked opponents and top 15 teams.
Which in all honesty, that is the SEC, guys. I mean, even like, think about South Carolina beat Clemson, who just beat Duke. Now, we don't always work in the transitive property, but they haven't won a game in that league in the SEC. And they beat maybe the second best, or maybe if you're in Clemson, they'd argue the best team in that league. And that's how good the SEC is. That's how deep it is. So even if there's not little numbers next to the names, it doesn't disparage the team, because it is sometimes your schedule. And with these unbalanced schedules, too, everybody has to pay attention to, especially when you're still doing futures for regular season champions, which at this point, you can still find some value in these things. And these things can turn. The Big East is a good example. There's some leagues that are very compelling in this regard still. You've got to look at their schedule and look at who's home and away, because it's outside of the Big East, everybody's schedule's imbalanced, and TV factors into that. So if you're still doing it now, you got to pay attention. You definitely should have looked before the year, because a lot of these teams aren't returning games, and some of the big boys are getting them on their home court and don't return it. That's a huge deal. So how your schedule broke affects your record more than the quality of team you are at times, especially in a league like the SEC.
Yeah, and my good friend Bill Cramsey, who just cashed his future ticket on the Eagles, also has A&M at 60-1 to win the tournament. They're home to Georgia tonight, laying 8.5, depending on where you find it. Do you like anyone in the game? And your thoughts on A&M as an Elite Eight, possibly Final Four team?
Elite Eight, I could see it. Let's start big picture. Final Four, it gets harder. The reason for that is they just really don't shoot it that well, guys. Now, what they do is they're an elite offensive rebounding team. They're an elite, the best in the country. They get 45% of their misses. That number's even gone up a little bit in SEC play. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. And in league play, they've even gotten better. They're physical, which sometimes in a tournament, though, can bite you the other way if the games tend to be called tighter. Their free throw percentage sometimes can waver late games. So I like what they can do. I think Buzz Williams is an outstanding coach. He'll make adjustments in games. When he first realizes this needs to change, he will make the change. Not every coach does that. I could see an Elite Eight for them. I could potentially see a Final Four, but to beat the best of the best, at times they have to make some shots, and that's really been a challenge for them. That said, tonight, I do love them against Georgia laying the number here. Georgia and SEC play on the road has struggled. They're 0-5 ATS on the road, and they've been in the games where they've been getting 5, 6, 7 points at times. And the things I just mentioned, taking care of the ball, Bulldogs do not do it well, particularly they're worse on the road. Defensive rebound, they're second to last in the SEC in defensive rebounding percentage. And at times, as I just mentioned, that is the Aggies' best offense, to throw it at the rim. I also think this team is got a chip on their shoulder, because you mentioned somebody's got a 61 ticket on it. We're not talking about them very much as a Final Four team. And Buzz Williams is very good at playing that angle, if you will, and playing that underdog mentality type thing. I think they continue to put together good performances. I don't think this is a good matchup for the Bulldogs. I'll lay the 8.5 with the Aggies.
All right, good breakdown. Let's stay with the SEC. This opened 2.5. The favorite is flipped. Miss State now 1.5 against Florida. Big ask. You just have the huge win against Auburn, and now you got to go on the road again.
Guys, this line stinks. I liked it this morning when it was 1.5 plus for Mississippi State and took it down. I didn't think we'd see it flipping, but I did think it was off, to say the least, because when you look at the two teams just on paper and the quality of their team, what they can do, I would put that line at 3 or 4. And when you go by, if you look at KenPom sometimes, it's a pretty good barometer if we think the line is on the level, if you will. It's 4 for KenPom for Florida to win this game on the road. They have had some bad performances off big win. Tennessee, they throttled at home. They played a good game against an Arkansas team that's not good, not a good game. They played a bad Arkansas team at the time that was really struggling, and then they laid an egg against Missouri. We saw them play Tennessee down 2 starters, try to coast through that thing. Not good. You're coming off a historic win on the road in the Plains. You're now going without Elijah Martin yet again. Walter Clayton Jr. is fully healthy, but without Elijah Martin again in that backcourt. Mississippi State, it's kind of, it's not the Alamo, but they shouldn't be the favorite here. They've lost, 4 of 6, and they've gotten blown out at home by a Missouri team like last week. So none of this makes sense. Mm-hmm. So this is a general principle play that I'm going Bulldog. And we got it before it flipped, and I'm happy with that. But I still think they can win this game outright. Money line's probably not a bad play, but I think this is one of those general principle plays right here.
Very good. Kansas State at home to Arizona. Again, you're coming off the big win against your rival, Arizona, plus 210 to win the Big 12. They continue to win games. Great story. What do you think here if you want to take the points with the Wildcats?
Both teams are hot. I'm taking the points. I liked it. I liked it at 3.5. I think it's still floating in that space right now. Earlier today, and this is this situation where both teams are playing really, really well. Arizona's won 9 straight. K-State's won 5 straight. But K-State has resurrected their season, guys. I mean, Coleman Hawkins was getting maligned. This is a new development for us when it comes to college kids. We do it some of the pros because we know their salaries and be like, man, this guy's dragging our salary cap, and they get crushed for the money they make. He's been dragged because he's getting $2 million a year to come over from Illinois, and he had not performed at that level. Doug McDaniel from Michigan had been bad. Doug's been out of his mind the last couple games. They offensive rebounded. They punked Iowa State. Doug's making shots. Yep. Coleman's sharing, playing that kind of like doing a bit of everything, which helps their team. He's defended well. He's a ball mover at times. He's making shots. He's not forcing it. And we're playing in the Octagon of Doom is tough. That building is live when they're rolling. They are rolling again. There's momentum and there's belief that they can keep winning these games. They're going to find themselves in the tournament. Massive opportunity against a team who comes in top of the table, if you will, in the Big 12 with the game. I believe Arizona plays Houston at the weekend. So let's talk about a look-ahead spot. Yep. Like this is a dangerous spot in a place they've never played in a league game. So give me Jerome Tang. Give me the points. Money line plays in the mix as well, but I'll take the points because I think they're going to win this outright, but we've seen Arizona pull some rabbits out of the hat, so I'll take the point.
Dalen, I was convinced that Mick Cronin was trying to get fired here about a month ago with his crazy rants after the end of each game and calling out his assistants and his players. All they've done is won 7 in a row, including over Wisconsin and over Michigan State. They have to go to Illinois tonight. I think this is a big number, 6.5. However, after the Iowa game, he said, complain about Iowa spending 2 days in L.A. in 70-degree weather, and we have to keep flying and seeing the Statue of Liberty and the White House. When they went to Nebraska, they lost. When they went to Maryland, they lost. And when they went to Rutgers, they lost. So when they've had to leave the West Coast, the results have not been good. Any thoughts on this game? Up to 7 now here at Circa.
Yeah, I'm not going to play this, but I thought my mindset was in the same space you were. I was like, man, UCLA's playing really well, but they have not won east of the Mississippi River. All their away wins, Oregon, Washington, again, all to your point, all on the West Coast, all in the Western time zone still. And Mick has been very clear about how he feels about traveling. That said, he obviously does know his team because he burned those guys in effigy, and I thought, man, he's going to lose the locker room, especially in today's modern college basketball. But he sure kept it, and they've turned it around. They've defended very well. Daly's been good. A lot of guys are contributing. That said, I do love Illinois' team. I think Yakashonis is one of the best guards in the country and probably going to be a top 8 pick. They do have freshmen that have to contribute on that team, and they've had different health issues throughout the last couple of weeks. I think they can cover this number, but I don't love it. And again, there's so much else going on right now, I'm not going to play this game, but I would lean toward Illinois covering purely because UCLA has struggled on the road, and at some point we're going to see a bit of a regression, I think, given how well they have played in the friendly confines of the western part of the country the last 3 weeks. How
about a total? First place, George Mason taking on St. Louis, total 131.5 you got.
Yeah, man. It's low, but George Mason likes that space, and St. Louis, they've taken the under in 12 out of 13, guys.
Oh.
And at some point, you figure there's going to be some regression. I've called a couple of their games, and when they have a chance, when they're flowing and they're able to play in transition and get stops, that offense can roll. When it doesn't do that, it can really become stagnant, and they are really reliant on their starting 5. They're bottom 10 in the nation in bench percentage minutes played. George Mason is first in the league and one of the top 20 in the nation in free throw rate. They have guys that get themselves to the rim and create contact and get to the foul line. They also, Tony Skinn's done a great job. They'll change up defenses, bottom 30 in the nation in tempo. They grind you offensively by seeing some different zones at times, how they guard man. And they've been the best defensive team in the A-10 by a long shot. So I think this is a grinder of a game. Mason's been awesome. They've won, I think, 8 or 9 straight in the A-10 and some shocking ones like on the road at Dayton. So this is a game where I don't love picking a side here. I do think it's 1-point line. It's a bit of a coin flip to me. But I do think this game is played in the low 60s and gets you in the 120s, kind of where Tony Skinn wants it to win on the road.
Dalen, we got 30 seconds left. If I gave you a prop bet, you got the SEC versus the field to win the national title as a pick'em. Who are you taking?
Without the numbers?
It's a pick'em. They're offering it in some places.
You said it's a pick'em?
They're offering it. It was plus 120 on the SEC. It's now a pick'em.
SEC. I think my top favorites are Auburn, Bama, and Florida. Those are the 3 teams I think are most likely to cut down the net. So if that's how I feel, then that would be how I played that. SEC versus the field.
Good to talk to you. Good luck tonight. Catch up with you soon. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Be well.
Thanks, Dalen.
All right, 4 picks there. Laying it with A&M. Miss State now favored. He grabbed the points earlier. K-State money line. George Mason, St. Louis under. What a card. You got UConn Creighton too tonight. Oh, something must have happened. 5.5 point move in the San Diego State game. It's up to 10 on the road against San Jose State. It opened 5.5. I see 10s. That's bizarre. A lot of NFL news. You won't believe what the 49ers said yesterday. Straight ahead, Visa and Follow the Money. Live from Circa, Sirius XM, channel 158.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, fun show. The Maestro in today. He'll be in Friday as well. Von Tobel the next couple of days. Mitch on vacation. I'm fired up for Friday. Mike's gonna put together a list. I'm so excited. I think it's going to be a home run as well, and there'll be some top guests on the show. The big news that we started the show with: Nevada Sportsbooks won a record amount from Super Bowl bettors this year, but the handle was down 20%. They held 14.6, and you had the record the previous year. So that was Thule had that first as well, and that was the news. And you couldn't hold
Thule. Put down the 96-ounce steak, Dave, and find out. Great job by Dave Thule.
Yes, he's between the White Snake 80s glam hair metal bands in between. You never know what you're going to get from Thule on X, but a little surprising. How did you guys do here at Circa?
So our handle was down about 15%, so a little less than the statewide average, and we also didn't win 14.6, but we won about 10%, it's our second best Super Bowl. But we only had 6 since we've been open. But the best one was also the Chiefs losing. The Chiefs losing to Tampa Bay, which it was funny because I was sitting at the table in the Galaxy Ballroom, and Dave Ross was next to me, and Mitch was on the other side, and then across from me was JVT and Adam Hill. About halfway through the second quarter, JVT said, "This is Tampa Bay all over again." The way they're killing the offensive line in this game. That was our biggest winner for a Super Bowl. This was second biggest.
Yep.
Not bad.
Yep. And I know you criticized Reed, the job Fangio did, also abandoning the run early. But that was incredible. Just how we had no time to throw. And if it wasn't him, I would have said, if that's a Sunday afternoon game, you're unleashing hell in play. And nonstop.
Right.
And still, you made a good point, though, with Anthony Curtis that people still thought, I have to do it. Number one, I saw it with Brady, but Mahomes and Reed don't lose. I'm taking the 7, 8, 9, 10-1 in play. I'm laying 6.5 second half. I think they're going to come back, and it never happened.
They pounded all the Pacheco props here.
Wow.
3 carries for 7 yards.
Well, I didn't get that one.
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
I didn't think he was going to do anything, right? But there were a lot of surprises, and certainly Barkley, everything under was big as well.
Outside of Mahomes, though, they only rushed the ball 7 times.
I know, yeah.
7 carries by running backs.
And none from Worthy, which was big. That was another popular prop, absolutely. So that was the big news today. Also, the 49ers and Jed York saying we're going to lock up Brock Purdy, and it's going to be a long-term relationship. This will be criticized because it's going to be a ton of money on the heels of their giving They're going to let Debo shop himself, and they're going to let him trade. They're going to trade him as well. Brock is a tremendous human being. I'm looking forward to a long-term partnership. He also has full confidence in Lynch and Shanahan to get this turned around. Today at ESPN.com, Adam Schefter has a list, top 5 most interesting teams headed into next year. 49ers aren't on the list. I think they have to be on the list. Get the Jets out of there. They're going to be bad. This team, is the door closed? Is it window closed? What's going to happen here is they go from Super Bowl this close and now all the injuries and last place team to can they get back, and is Purdy going to regress or live up to the hype with that contract? I think that all that makes them a great case to be on this list for most interesting top 5.
Is he a worse quarterback if you pay him more? And by this I mean, we say an unbelievable performance for a guy on a Wookiee contract, but if he gets $250 million, then the criticism start to come heavy?
Yeah,
right. Like Daniel Jones.
That's true.
You're not performing but we pay you all this money.
Right. It was the but while he was putting up big numbers, and it was about the system and all the weapons he has. But their comeback is, who else are you going to get? Who's out there? And no to Rodgers. You're not going to go the Cousins route. And Darnold cost himself so much money that ship has sailed too. So the best part about this now is the musical chairs in the offseason and what's going to happen at quarterback. At DraftKings, Aaron Rodgers is 2-1 to go to the Steelers. They're the favorites. Raiders, second choice. 49ers, third choice. You already have Vikings fans reaching out and say, please no. Get lost. Not going to happen. Titans, Colts, Giants, Jets makes no sense. And the Browns don't make any sense either. Rams 10-1 is intriguing. If Stafford retires, that could be something. Also, Cooper Kupp, Denver, the favorites to land Cooper Kupp, 5-1. So a good job by Avello putting that up. It's Garrett, Kupp, and Aaron Rodgers and Debo. Odds on the next team they're gonna land. But I'll tell you, he played well to close against Miami. Rodgers had a horrible year. So it goes back to what's left. They also had weapons, too.
They got him what he wanted.
I know, and they still couldn't do anything.
He had a good running back.
Yeah.
He got the receivers he wanted.
Yep.
Improved offensive line.
Yep. I don't know. I can see what that'd be wild if he goes to Pittsburgh. Schefter's list, by the way. Top 5 most interesting teams. Bengals number 1. You going to pay Higgins and Chase and Hendrickson and Burrow? Don't think so. New defensive coordinator. You right, Mike? Phenomenal offense, maybe the best offense in the league, yet you missed the playoffs because of Lou. Number 2, Cleveland. What are you going to do at quarterback? Can't go with Watson and the Garrett trade request as well. Would you go quarterback if you're Cleveland? And actually, where do you stand on Ward and Sanders? And you might like Dart more than both of them.
I like Ward the best.
So do I.
I think Ward could take a hit better. I think he's got a stronger arm.
There's one, but there's one. Do
I
like
still
him
have to get over the game. You
the Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl.
Oh God, get out of here!
Against UCLA, it's the worst game I've ever seen from a Division I quarterback.
Washington State days are long gone. I know it was bad.
It was awful.
Do you like the guy, and then do you like him top 5 too? And today, Field Yates has Dart going to Pittsburgh in his mock draft as well. Number 3, New Orleans. The other news today: Kellen Moore takes the job, named the head coach of the Saints. $60 million over the cap. I don't find that interesting. They're going to struggle.
No.
It's going to be a process with him, you're right. Patriots number 4. This I can get on board with. Superstar coach in Vrabel, good young quarterback, $110 million in cap space. Going to be a popular pick to go over their win total. As you said, maybe they could challenge Buffalo for the division. Jets number 5, no interest. I don't find that interesting. They need a quarterback, Glenn, new coach. Adams probably going to be gone as well. And who are they going to lock up, and what are they going to do defensively? Which also was a major issue.
Would you put the Raiders in the top 10?
Yes, with Carroll? Yeah, absolutely.
And Chip.
Yes.
And Chip.
$6 million he got.
So he's got a 3-year contract. How long is he going to coach? Till he's 80? I mean, he's got to turn this around now. I thought his press conference was by far the best of the new coaches. I loved it too, and I liked the GM. I thought it was well done. He said, every other place I went, he won in year 3 or 4, right? It's not year 3 or 4. We have to win now, right? And he's right. So, but you have to have quarterback. I mean, they sat on this. Look, they went into last year going into the offseason with no quarterback, and they came back with the same 2, just like the Blackhawks, who told us our problem was these 2 goaltenders, and they take the same 2 goaltenders into this season.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's good they're not on TV in Chicago.
I said the Atlanta Falcons. Do you have a future that you like at a pretty good price?
I like the Atlanta Falcons as well because Cousins was a chain for them. I think he was an anchor on this team. And, as we mentioned, he came out and he said, I was hurt. I was never 100%. Let's see what Penix can do. With all these weapons around him on offense, you've got a defensive-minded head coach to try to build up your defense. It's a win. You have to look at winnable divisions, too, when you're looking at futures.
Yes.
I mean, like, what are you going to do with the NFC East? You're going to try to pick up Dallas or New York? They're just going to fall further behind these two teams that are on top. Mm-hmm. I say the Bears is interesting, but it's still a very tough division. And they
should have been on the list, too, from Schefter.
Very interesting, right? With that quarterback and the coach to see what he can do.
Yep.
It's tough to pick on team. Look at the coaches in the AFC West: Reed, Payton, Harbaugh, and Carroll. Oh. There's no easy outs there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
I agree with you. I agree. You have to pick somebody from the two South divisions because they're winnable divisions.
That's what I landed too on what we discussed earlier with Bill Barnwell. Every year, someone wins 4 or 5 games. At least one team makes the playoffs. I'd have to look at that. Maybe Carolina, but also Jacksonville. But you're down on Lawrence, and I understand that as well. We'll see if Cohen can turn them around. But your list of teams, your candidates: New England, Cleveland,
Bears.
Jets, Jags, Tennessee, Las Vegas, New Orleans, and Carolina. Attention all serious sports bettors. If you're thinking about playing in the 2025 Circa Millions or Survivor contests, now's the time to get ahead of the game with Winner's Circle Proxy and VEASAN. Sign up today. Exclusive offers, including a drawing for a free Circa contest entry with Proxy Service. Lock in special pricing on Winner's Circle Proxy Service for 2025, and you get access to expert contest strategies from past winners and VEASAN pros. Head to winnercircleproxy.com/VEASAN. winnercircleproxy.com/VEASAN. Fun discussion earlier with Anthony Curtis about the contest and how big this can be this year at Circa as well. Up next, rapid fire with the college basketball card, significant line movement, and quickly on the NBA card with a game I like, but we should have seen this coming. 2 examples, one in the NFL and one last night in the NBA with a player prop that we'll get to as well, and a couple picks and some props. And then we'll get to In Pocket as well. Follow the money, VEASAN, the Sports Betting Network. Pauly Howard, Mike Palm, VEASAN Watch App, Sirius XM 158, coming to you live from beautiful Circa, downtown Las Vegas.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
35 years ago today, Buster Douglas shocks Mike Tyson. Jimmy Vaccaro at the Mirage. Hey, kid. Takes a $168,000 bet on Tyson to win that would return $4,000. Someone put $1,500 on Douglas. They won $57,000. One of the biggest upsets in sports history 35 years ago today. Yesterday, 31 years ago today, the marine biologist aired. Top 5 Seinfeld episode. Might be number 1 for most people with the title list. Incredible scene at the end. As I understand it, I had the box set. I'm trying to think. Mm-hmm. I think in the history of the show, that was the longest sustained laugh from the audience with when he pulls out the title list and shows it to Kramer.
There's a long pause for Kramer delivers the line.
Yeah.
About title list because they wouldn't stop laughing. It's a hell of a dialogue, hell of a soliloquy.
Yeah, brilliant, just genius as well. Okay, couple of things here. I still can't get over, and they're coming out by the day, how many Philadelphia Eagles said we were so pissed off and we used it as fuel that the Chiefs were planning the three-peat and reaching out to Riley and negotiating because he has the patent on everything. How does he have the patent? He was the first person ever to say three-peat with the Lakers? That's hard to believe, but he does it anyway. So Riley cost him so he couldn't get this big payday. But it's just funny how many guys said, it's a Super Bowl, I know, but it's just these guys were really bothered and pissed off. A lot like what the Giants said afterwards when the undefeated Patriots, when they beat them about, get the T-shirts and everything, that they said, no, you're not talking about a three-peat before you got to beat us first. Throw that stuff in the garbage, they said.
The Celtics wouldn't. They never thought of it. Auerbach, they never thought of it when they did it.
Three-peat. Riley's the genius. I don't know. But isn't that funny?
It is funny. He owns it all.
I know. It is weird. The other one was last night in Los Angeles. Easy win for the Lakers. But Luka's props were high. Number one, he hadn't played since December. He was on a minutes restriction. You know they were going to blow him out because the Jazz are ass. And
No,
he didn't even come close.
I don't think any of the starters played like more than 28 minutes.
Yeah.
I was looking through the box score.
He had 14 points. He was 27 and a half. That was another one.
1 of 7 from 3.
Should have been right. Yeah, a little bit of rust. No doubt that's going to happen. We'll get back to college basketball in a second. Let's give you the G-Bank best bet of the day. I told you, and we talked about how toxic that Suns locker room is right now. They have lost 4 of 5. The only win was against those Utah Jazz in overtime at home, and Allen had hit a 3 at the buzzer. It's bad right now, what's going on. You know, Durant's furious. They tried to trade him. He says, I've dealt with noise before. It's not a good locker room. They didn't want Beal. He wouldn't waive his no trades. That's on them and the organization. They'll be lucky to make the playoffs, and boy, has that moved. They are now plus 230 to make the playoffs. Memphis, to get it done tonight on the road, the line should tell you a lot here in the TNT game, late game. Memphis laying 4.5 in Phoenix with that horrible situation in the locker room right now. We think Memphis, one of the best teams in the West, will get it done. G-Bank up in the ante with a $750 bonus for new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. New customers spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from accounts opening. Receive a $250 bonus, and if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, you get another $500 bonus, so potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now. VSiN.com/GBank. VSiN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Only 4 games tonight. Bad job by the league. Don't be like hockey. Space it out. Knicks, 2.5 in Indiana. I believe this is a Malinsky special. Let me look in a second. OG's a game-time decision. And the Pacers, off that dreadful performance in L.A. when they were routed by the Lakers without LeBron and Luka. And it is a Malinsky special. It's their first game back after a West Coast road trip. So we'll see if they respond. And the Knicks, I don't mind Cat over his rebound prop, 13.5. Indiana's won 7-10. They beat the Knicks 132-121. The Knicks returned the favor 123-98. I think if you play it, though, I'd go Pacers first half based on how they, Carlisle probably lit them up, how bad they were in that game in Los Angeles. To make the playoffs, Sixers plus 160. Detroit minus 240. Suns plus 230. Orlando minus $4. Atlanta, even after those trades, plus 105. Dallas now plus 145. Golden State minus 130. Some interesting numbers up there, as always, shop. And I like Detroit tonight. They're favored on the road against the god-awful Bulls, who are 10-17 at home. They trade Levine. They don't know what they want to do. Cade Cunningham having a great season, 25-6-9. Detroit over 500. What a story. But again, they have split this year. 127-119 Detroit and 122-112 Chicago. I don't know how the Warriors were down 26 to this team. But I think Detroit, who can, they're not that bad defensively. The Bulls are horrendous defensively. 9 games under 500 now. They know the season's over after these trades. They are 27th in defense. They are 3rd in pace. I'm not going to put you off the over if you want over 237 as well. Got blasted by Golden State, 132-111. Got blasted by Minnesota, and just lost at Detroit by 8 as well. I like the Pistons in this one on the short card in the NBA. Anything else, Maestro, in college?
How do you feel about that Sixers no playoffs minus 140 bet you made? Are the Bulls going to screw you?
No, they're going to get in, but they're going to have to win a couple games, and that comes back. Embiid's going to play tonight, by the way. They're laying 9.5 against Toronto. How about that performance Super Bowl Sunday? No freak, and you get run out and can't defend the Bucks. So I wouldn't be shocked if they make the playoffs. But then again, it's like who you gonna be going against, right? You're gonna be playing some bad teams, and even Miami going through the Butler situation. Miami could get the 5 seed when it's all said and done. What a card tonight in college hoops. Deep card, too, with 4 interesting late games. Santa Clara, St. Mary's. St. Mary's laying 9.5. Joe Lenardi has them an 8 seed right now. ESPN Bracketology. Great resume. And $9 at DraftKings to win the West Coast. Utah State only 5.5 against Colorado State. Why? It doesn't make any sense. One of the toughest places to play in the country. Did lose at home to UC San Diego and New Mexico. But Colorado State has been taken out in a couple against the elite teams in this league. I'm surprised this line. I like Utah State at home. And the Aztecs open 5.5. They're up to 10 at San Jose State.
Does San Jose State have a player that's worth that many?
Must be
multiple players. Has to be multiple
Has to be
players.
something. Or we have an incident going on here called gaming integrity, U.S. integrity, on line 1 here. I mean, this is Tempo Part 2.
Like the Nets last night. We took 2 six-figure bets on the Nets, and I thought it was very strange because they were parlayed with another big favorite. When was the Pelicans and whatever, big favorite. But our vulnerability was to beat the Nets last night.
Bet on the Nets.
Yes, minus 170 and then minus 1. I mean, they're 2 horrific teams, right? Where's the advantage here?
Right.
But then Melo Ball, his ankle's hurting. He goes out after 10 minutes, and the game's a rout.
Oh, man.
Matt Holt, where are you?
Tough. Yeah, that is tough. San Diego State and the Spartans. San Jose State was on a 17. They're on a 17-2-1 ATS run, and now catching 10 at home. And San Diego State almost lost to Air Force early in there. This is where you're going to come out sleepwalking again. There's no atmosphere.
They're so bad there in the first halves.
Yeah, I don't mind the dog in that game too. Bama, Texas. I like your angle too with both teams here. Bama plays Auburn Saturday. It's number 1 against number 2, and a great look-ahead spot. Now you'd think maybe Auburn's ticked off because they're coming off a loss. But also Alabama laying 4 against Texas. And as we could put that up again, Luke, this is it. This is the, quote, easy one for Alabama. After this game, 2 against Auburn, Missouri, who's ranked, Kentucky, ranked top 15, Mississippi State, ranked, Tennessee, 5th, Florida, 3rd. Look at the remaining schedule for Alabama. This is nuts. And I can't kill you if you go 500 there either. And I still give you a top 2 seed.
I'm beginning to warm to Dalen's Kansas State tonight.
This is
a bad spot for Arizona.
Because Houston's on deck?
Well, they just come off the revenge home win against Texas Tech.
Okay.
You got Houston Saturday in a showdown at the top of the conference.
Right.
And now you travel to the middle of nowhere, some doom and gloom place midweek, and play Kansas State in the Octodome of Doom here.
All right.
It's a tough spot.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to ride with him.
He said, forget the 3.5. He wants the money line.
Yep.
At plus 145. Why are you down on Houston? What's wrong with you?
It's the same team every year, Paul. It's like, they defend and they rebound and they never win. I'm just saying they're not going to win.
The Final Four. I mean,
who cares? They get
who cares?
Them being down 8 with 12 minutes left in a Sweet 16 game is like another team being down 20. There's so few possessions. I don't know. I don't ever think they always have. They don't have go-to guys when they're in trouble. It's the same team that Calvin Sampson runs out there every year. The same team, and this isn't the best version of it.
They're better offensively than years past, no doubt.
Well, they went over last night.
Yeah. Worst Super Bowls up next, and also in pocket, straight ahead. VSiN, follow the money. Mike Palm in today and tomorrow. Mitch on vacation.
Not tomorrow, Friday.
Excuse me,
JVT.
Friday. Thank you. Sirius XM Channel 158.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
No U.S. integrity needed. You just need Brian Edwards. Sports better. Vegas B. Edwards on X. San Jose State star players out. Averages 16 and 4. That's why the line went from 5.5 to 10. Aztecs on the road. Like you, I would think it'd be a couple people. It's like we're talking about a great Spartan team.
Guy's scoring 16. He's worth 4.5 to the line. I tell you, who's bad. Fresno is really bad.
Yeah, they are.
Oof.
Yep. So thanks to Brian Edwards for that. Grizzlies laying 4.5 on the road. Ugly situation with the Phoenix locker room. Wanted to make moves, wanted to get Butler, couldn't do it. Chopped Durant, he's not happy about it. They wanted to trade Beal, couldn't do it. Hey, I like it here. My family's having a good time. He's getting heckled at home games. Wouldn't waive his no trade. Jurkic, I don't have any relationship with the head coach. What are you talking about? They ship him out? Ugly situation. And a good Memphis team. Suns 500 on the year. They've lost 4 of 5, and again, the only win was at home in overtime against the atrocious Jazz. Let's lay it with Memphis. There you go. What do you got, Michael?
I'm going to take the 2 college basketball games, like I said. I'm going to ignore Cuff on the second one, although he didn't have a play. He leaned Illinois. I'm going to take Kansas State. Bad spot for the Cats. With their look ahead to Houston on Saturday. Going to Manhattan tonight. 3.5. He took him on the money line. I'll take the points. And then, I don't know, this Cronin. I was convinced Mick Cronin was trying to get fired. I don't have anything to prove. I'm 53. I've won almost 500 games. Everybody in the locker room's soft. These kids are delusional. I beat him. I have more energy than everybody in practice. I just kept berate. Then he would berate the reporters about the travel. I mean, it's like 4 consecutive games he went nuts in the postgame, and all they've done is win 7 in a row. I know they've all been in the Pacific time zone, but they've beaten some good teams, too, in Wisconsin and Michigan State. So I'm going to take the 7 tonight in Champaign against Illinois.
Sports betting never slows down. Neither should you. Fun weekend. Daytona 500, NBA, NHL. Good golf tournament. MLB props, futures. March Madness right around the corner. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Uncle Lou's on Friday, too. UFC $9.99. Every daily email from Bill 80. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The prop analyzer will blow your mind. All the content that's up there every single day. Get it. Become part of the team. VSiN.com/subscribe. If you take out the back-to-back against Atlanta, Toronto's 2-21 on the road. Maybe the Sixers, pissed off after what happened in Milwaukee, open up a can on Toronto tonight. That could happen. So earlier we did top 5 worst Super Bowls. And again, I'll go back to the 70s. There's some great stuff in here. I can't believe there was a game with 11 and 10 turnovers. You had one of them. But again, thanks to David Stanley who sent that in. 16-13 final, 11 turnovers. And then not only does a defensive player win the MVP, he wins it on a losing team. You had everything with that game. I had Seattle-Denver, number 5, 43-8. Niners-Chargers, 49-26. It was 14-0, 5 minutes in, 18.5-point spread. Bears over the Patriots, 46-10 and 85. Niners-Broncos, 55-10. Dallas Bills, 52-17. I don't care with a halftime show.
What about Leon Lett?
Yeah, get out of here.
And OJ.
Leon Lett play. OJ
I
on the
can't
side.
say that because I was in exciting. I was at my girlfriend went to Drake, and I was there for the weekend, and so I watched the Super Bowl with her in her dorm room with some Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
And then I had to drive back to Notre Dame when the game was done. And it was cold. It was icy.
I bet.
I-80. It was a very vivid memory.
Yeah.
Anyhow, my list. Number 5, I tell you, it was because of the disappointment of not having the Vikings in there.
Well
I
done.
was
fair
already
enough.
pissed off when the game started, and the Falcons didn't put up much of an effort, and Elway goes back-to-back. Raiders-Redskins, this was a very good Redskins team, and they got blitzkrieged by the Raiders, and the Theismann interception right before the half. So it was a rout in Tampa. Cowboys-Broncos is the one I referred to. 10 total turnovers, 8 by the Broncos. This was Staubach versus with Craig Morton, but Morton got pulled. I think Denver used 3 or 4 quarterbacks.
You force 8 turnovers, and you win by 17, and you only score 27.
Think about how good the Cowboys' offense was when they got 8 takeaways and only scored 27. There was nothing to write home about. But Doomsday got there, and Landry's last Super Bowl title. Then the 2 routes by the 49ers. Number 2 on my list, 55-10. And then the game that was at 18.5. Come on. How can the line is 18.5? You know it's going to be a horrific game, and it was.
I can't get over what the money line was. It's kind of like Oregon, Colorado from a couple of years ago, right? Mm-hmm. You got a team laying that spread, and that's what it was. So, good list, good.
What was your
response.
best Super Bowl?
Okay.
I said wide right was my number 1.
Yeah, I don't recall much of it. We got the running back, Kenneth Davis. Who was it?
Kenneth Davis. When Thurman Thomas couldn't find his helmet, the fourth and final game. That's a good. The 4 Falls of Buffalo. That's a good 30 for 30. But they talked about that they just had nothing left after playing all those games in those 4 years. But he couldn't find his helmet, and they put Kenneth Davis, and he fumbled on the second play.
Do you want just game or total experience, everything going on?
I say for my whole experience on that day in viewing that Super Bowl, what was the best?
It's Baltimore, San Francisco.
Okay. The blackout?
It was right after Megabucks.
Yeah.
I cashed a ton of tickets. I had a big future on the Ravens. I thought for sure they'd go into New England and win. And then with the blackout, and is the game going to be postponed? What's going to happen?
And Bruno Mars at halftime. You have to consider that halftime entertainment.
And then the game completely flips.
Yeah.
I mean, that game had everything. There was a kickoff return. There was a safety. It was a blowout. And then the Niners are in position to win the game. Harbaugh holding. I think they're going to win the game. That had everything. It was nuts. And then I was also pissed off because, yes, I catch my future, but how did Joe Flacco look like Joe Montana for a month? They went into Denver. He beat Manning. How did that happen? Was it Raheem Moore? Couldn't on the Hail Mary. Then you go into New England and beat them. I mean, it was ridiculous. And they take out the 49ers as well. So Kaepernick Mania was running wild too. But as far I loved Denver, Green Bay. Loved it. Point spread was crazy.
That was good. That was two really good teams.
This one's for John.
Mm-hmm.
That one was good.
The helicopter, Elway getting hit and spinning.
I think Atlanta, New England was awesome. Had everything. Brady throws a pick six. Oh, they're going to blow them out. And then it can't be stopped. 2-point conversions. They're down 28-3. There comes the turnover.
The New England-Seattle game was really good,
That was
too.
good,
Where
too.
they didn't
You're
run
right.
Beast Mode at the one, and he gets the Malcolm Butler
was a
gets
good
the pick.
game.
That was a really good game.
Good call. Who was the wide receiver that made the crazy catch on the sideline? What was his name? You remember?
No.
He was falling down. It's kind of like Antonio Freeman. What was his name? Anyways, he had that catch in that sequence that led up, and then the Butler interception. That was a fun game as well. But that goes to show, Tom could be 4-6. Tom could be 3-7. Tom also could be 10-0.
But they also never got blown out like Mahomes just
Oh,
did.
absolutely right. That's what big hit to the legacy. Yeah. Big hit. You combined 40 points in the two losses, right? So anything else you got with the? I mean, there's a lot of. I try to think. It's hard because it depends how you want to define it and how you want to look at it.
I remember being really disappointed by Marinos when they got blown out by San Francisco
Don't
when
recall
Marino
that
rated.
game. Yep.
I thought that was going to be a great game, and it was a terrible game.
Yeah. The great line afterwards. I thought I'd be back on a regular basis. That one was good. I'm sure I'm missing one, too. How good is this college basketball card?
Jermaine Kearse.
That's it.
Incredible
Thank you, guys.
catch.
Thank you, guys. How good is this that we haven't even got really much into UConn Creighton? It's another great game on the card tonight, and it's like, okay, well, right, not bad.
It's an afterthought.
Right. And as you pointed out, good call. Creighton plus 175 to win the Big East.
They're a game behind St. John's.
They're right there. And having some good wins.
You pretty much eliminate UConn with the win if you're betting the regular season race.
Right. Yep. And Creighton laying 4 at home. What a card tonight. Now it's getting fun, Maestro. Good. Another game.
Could be a tricky spot for Iowa State, too, at UCF.
Yep. That's true.
Lane 8.
Yeah, but I like Tennessee. Number 1 defense against a Kentucky team that struggles defensively, to be kind. And I think they get revenge here on Kentucky. I'm with Dalen Cuff. Miss State at home against Florida. It was +3. Now they're favored. But I agree with the move. I think Miss State takes out Florida. And I don't mind betting against Auburn and Alabama with the look-ahead spots as well as they collide Saturday, number 1 against number 2. And I'm rooting for you. Good call on. I hope Drake gets there too. I hope Drake's a tournament team and Drake keeps it going 22-2 or 20-2, whatever their record is. Good job. Fun. I'm excited for Friday. Got a good list coming up as well. And a fun show with Lou and Richie B in studio about how to massage the number and how young people can't get off the screens as well with the younger demographic. That'll be good stuff kicking around with Mr. 2 Packs a Day. VSiN Primetime coming up next. Von Tobel with you. He's with me tomorrow and Thursday. Cashing out Joe Cirallo. And by the book, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Great job by the crew. Thanks to all the great guests. SiriusXM Channel 158. Check out all the podcasts. If you miss anything on the network, vsin.com. Get the Watch app. And check out the podcast as well. Good luck out there. We're back tomorrow. And RJ Choppy from the Fan in Dallas on all the madness of what's going on. Throwing fans out of the games, death threats. It's coming up.